she's listening around the alarm.
Okay, guys, we're back. Hopefully it's a little bit better with the sound. It looks better. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what we're doing next on this. So I assembled the front and I assembled the back. Let's see what we're doing.
Oh my gosh, Shannon, help.
I can't help you. Let me get on here so that I can see if there's any chat. Okay.
Yeah, you're live on both of them.
Okay, good. Okay, so we did stitch, press right sides together, pin middle, back. I did that already. Now we're going to do the back pockets. Yay. I made all the markings on these already. I just have to transfer to the other side next for the fold line here. What? For the moment. Okay. For a little while, because I'm almost done with these pants, so you're going to have to try them on once I'm done with them, because I'm going to have to see where I need to hem them to. Okay, so the back pocket. Press under 1/4 of an inch the upper edge of the back pocket. Turn upper edge to inside along fold line, forming a facing. The way they tell you to do this is actually not the most explanatory. This is the outside. So I have to think about this for a minute, because what it wants you to do is this, and then I think you fold it this way, sew it down, and then turn it so that it creates like a facing. Because this is the inside of the fabric. Let me use that other thing. Sometimes I forget I have this. So the way they're telling you to do it's not really super great. But the picture shows it in a way that I can understand it. So sometimes they tell you to do something, but they don't explain it very well. And then you're like, what? So thank goodness they have pictures also because, yeah. Just not sure how much of a seam allowance I should be stitching it at. Stitch along seam line on raw edges. I guess it's 5/8 of an inch because it's not specifically telling me that it's something else. So now this outside of the fabric, inside of the fabric here is folded over, and then this is folded over. So I'm going to stitch down the sides and then turn this part of it so that it is then on the inside. Let me double check and make sure before I stitch it. And yes, because this is the right side of the fabric, this is the wrong side of the fabric. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to clip this here at the corners. And then turn it. I actually think I'm supposed to clip in here too. I don't know why you would. Because you're going to turn it all under anyway, so you might as well leave that there. Nightmare! Hello, Nightmares, what are you doing? Come here! What are you doing, buddy? Hi, come here! What's your problem? He doesn't actually want my attention though, because when I went to pet him, he pulled away. I'm not playing with you turds. I'm not playing with you. You're gonna lay right there? Okay, well, let's turn this off for a few minutes. I don't particularly want you to burn yourself, little stinker. No little stinker boy. Do you require the snugs? Oh, is that a good spot? Oh, do you have the itchy, 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 itchy? No, come here. Come here, baby. You haven't given me snugs in a couple of days. Give me some snugs. Give me some snuggies. Remove that. Come here. Give me some snuggies. You want snuggies? Come here. Come here, Snuggy Bear. Oh, hello. Come here. No. Come back over here, sir. Hi, hi, bubbles. Hi, sweet boy. What you want? You want snuggies? He's very indecisive. He kind of wants the snugs, the snuggles, but he doesn't at the same time. I don't think people want to see your booty. No, they don't want to see your booty on the camera. Oh my God, you're destroying things. Hello? Well, hello, Mr. Nightmares. Hello. Oh, hi. Hi, babies. Careful, I don't want you to push any buttons on my sewing machine. Hi. Oh, right there. Okay. Right there. He's so cute. I just can't. I wish you guys could see it. He's laid in such a way that the camera doesn't catch anything but his tail. All you can see is his butt, but his head is in my hand. So cute. Oh my goodness, I love you. He's sleeping with his head in my hand. That's great because I'm scratching his neck. And now we get nothing done because Nightmare has demands. Nightmare has the demands for the mommy, right? He demands that mommy pay attention to him and hold his head while he takes a short little power nap. He's such a good, handsome boy. Yes, you are. I love you. How am I supposed to do anything now, Nightmare? Let me change the angle of the camera so that you guys can see the Nightmare. Ooh. One direction. He's the star of the show anyway, right? Right, Nightmare? You're the star? Are you the star of the show? Oh, handsome. You're handsome. You're such a handsome boy. Yeah. You have demands for snuggles right now. You have demands for pets and snugs. Guys, you're so cute. What am I going to do with you? You're such a cutie. I'm not allowed to sew. Not right now, huh? I have to pet the Nightmare's face. And scritch it. And give him little scritchies. You got fuzz. You got fur coming off. Hello. Hello, my Mr. Nightmare. This is how we get sidetracked. Sidetracked by kitty snuggles. Are you a happy boy? Yeah. love that little boy. Yes. I love him. Yeah. He's spoiled rotten, that's for sure. He has demands. Ring nightmares. He's just sitting here with his eyes closed. No? You want my hand away? What's that? You don't like that? Are you leaving now? Are you done with me? No, you're going to lay over there. Okay. Okay. You can lay there. That's fine, Nightmare. I just got to make sure that this is turned off and it's not going to burn you. And now I got to move the camera so that everybody can see the Nightmare. And that's the Nightmare camera for right now. In the meantime, I will sew the other one and prep it for the next part. And then we'll just do the same thing and clip the corner and turn it. I would press it, but I can't right now. Nightmare has overtaken my ironing station for the moment. Let's see what the next part is. But this one I kind of did press before he came up here, so I could probably top stitch on this one. So it says turn corners right side out. I did that to the wrong. What? Turning facing to the wrong side. Okay. Press under raw edges along stitching. Stitch facing close to inner edge and 1/4 inch away. Oh, so basically they want you to do 2 rows of top stitching, which I kind of figured as much. That'll keep that facing in place. So I'm just going to do 2 rows of top stitching and grab my edge stitch foot, because the 1 row is probably going to need to be right next to the edge, and then the other one needs to be like 1/4 inch away. And so to do that, I can, is it 5 or 10? It's 10. I have 2 feet that look almost exactly the same. One of them is a blind hem foot, which has like the little thing on the inside here, inside of the hole where the needle goes, and then the other one is a edge stitch foot. So they're slightly different. I always have to remember which one is which. Okay. So this one, Pretty sure this is right up against the edge, so this should work for this. Or not. I don't think it is. I actually think I'm grabbing. I have to move the needle position over just ever so slightly. He is like taking a nap for real. You see him? He's like passed out over there on pins. That piece of fabric that he's laying on has pins in it. Cats are so weird. Okay, so in order to get 1/4 of an inch over, I think I'm just going to move my needle position all the way over, and that might be close to 1/4 of an inch because I don't feel like changing my foot again and trying to figure it out. Yeah, that should be. I think they're a little closer together than I'd like, but what? Huh?
Wow. The college that was like, study lazy instead of having, they didn't tell the kids that like, instead of having someone read up those names when they're graduating, they had AI read the names and it missed like 70% of the walk up in their picture taking and stuff. And then afterwards, like, oh, we're sorry that we're not gonna walk the stage a second time, so whatever happened, happened. Like, the kids can deal with it. Afterwards.
That's messed up.
The world needs great man.
I know. They couldn't have somebody read their names? Like a real person? What'd you say?
And he's basically a fan going, so he's probably nice and relaxed.
The fan is blowing over here.
No, it probably keeps the room cool, so it's
Yeah.
probably nice. I told she wants your attention.
I know, and I gave him some, and then he came over here and laid down.
More
And
attention.
he just has to be close by, I guess. I mean, I guess I can work in this tiny little spot that he left me. I'm not ironing anything huge.
Oh, nice and leave a little spot, all right?
I mean, he could have been laying across the whole thing. Such a strange kitty. But I love him. But he's my strange kitty. This is far enough over. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to press under all of these edges. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that with a nightmare here. By 5/8 of an inch, I believe. Hi, baby. I get this tiny little space to work with because Nightmare has demands. He is obviously the king of the castle. We are just his peasants. So in order to make it so that the corners look good, what I usually do, and they also recommend, is to fold up the corner like this and iron it, and then fold it back in the other way because it will keep any like little pieces of fabric from sticking out on the side. Well, I'm showing you guys, but you're not even on camera. So like I fold up the corner like this and then fold these pieces over it. It's not focusing on me. It's focusing on Nightmare. I mean, you know, can't really blame it. He's way cuter. You don't like that noise? I'll turn it off. Hi, baby. Put my hands in boy. What's the matter, baby? Okay. Well, it's blowing. Oh. It's even the right amount up. Okay, well, let's see what it says next. So I did all of that. On outside, pin the pocket to the back, matching dots, top stitch. Okay, so which one is the back? I don't think I did. With right sides together, pin middle back to side back stitch, top stitch, middle back. Because I think this is supposed to be one whole piece already, except for the inseam in the front, and I didn't do that. So I have to do that before I can put the pockets on, because then the last step is to do the inseam. So let me just figure this out. Is this the outside or this is the outside? Okay, that's the inside. This is the inside. I think I need to flip those over. No. confused. This is the outside. This is the inside. Okay. Okay. So this is the right side. And then I'm going to pin this one. See here at the side seams. It's not what it says to do, but that is what you're supposed to do because the way they describe it's so confusing. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to switch out my foot again, put my needle back to center. And I'm going to need this foot in a few minutes, so I'm not going to put it far. Keeps pulling to the side because there's so much fabric. So it's kind of fighting me here. But I also think that maybe I need to move my sewing machine over just a little bit this way. Oh God, this thing is so heavy that even moving it over a little bit, it's quite hard. It's like 25 pounds compared to like my old machine, which was like 5 pounds or something. And I had to take it to a class because I had to take a class for the sewing machine. I learned a little bit in it. It's in 2 parts. I only did the first part. I need to get a wheelie cart for it if I want to move it anywhere because like it is just massively heavy. I didn't want to drop it or anything like that. I was terrified that after spending so much money on this machine, I was going to drop it or something. So yeah, I think I'm going to get a wheel cart from Amazon that hopefully it will fit into so that if I have to take it somewhere next time or anytime I have to take it for service or anything like that, or classes, if I want to take something, then I will have it. Because all of the other little ladies there had theirs in like wheelie carts. And I was like, I think this thing is massive and I don't want to carry it. It's so heavy and it's not any bigger really than my other sewing machine. Maybe just a little bit, but like just heavy. Because it's all metal, like on the inside, it's all metal frame and stuff, which makes it very sturdy, but again, makes it very heavy. Okay, and now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side here. And then I will have all of the pieces of the pants together. The only thing that will still have to be stitched together, I think, is the back rise and the inseam. Maybe? I'm not sure. much of it. Let's see, which side does it want me to top stitch towards? Top stitch, middle, back. It doesn't say. Press seam towards middle back section, so towards the back, towards the middle of the back. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to press the seams towards the center back and fell them down, which is quite a time-consuming thing. Just making sure I stitched it all together correctly. Yes, okay. Because if I didn't and then I felled it down, it would be really difficult to fix. So I'm probably going to have to serge like the curve here and this back seam here, since I'm not going to be able to fell them down or top stitch them. That would be probably pretty impossible for me to do. So I'm probably going to have to serge it, but my serger has dark thread in it right now. So, because I was working on my mom's pants yesterday, they're pretty much done. She just has to try them on, and I have to fit the waistband for her, and then that's it. They are done. So those were, I made her a pair of magic pants, which were the next video in my trouser pants series. But since I was having so many problems with sound and everybody was saying that the music was too loud and I couldn't, the editing software wasn't working for me the way I would have liked for it to. So I ended up having to switch to a new editing software. So right now I'm using DaVinci. Before I was using Premiere Pro, which is not super good for sound quality. So But first starting out, it was easy to learn on, and it was easy for me to figure out what I was doing and edit my videos. However, there are much more options for sound grading and sound, I don't even know what the right word is, to fix the sound in DaVinci. So I have started editing my next video again because it was already edited and ready to go, but I didn't want to put it out if it sounded like crap. So I started editing it. It's mostly done. I just have to add some music to it and check the sound quality on it, which learning how to use DaVinci has actually, quite frankly, taught me a lot about doing sound that I didn't know before just from watching like the tutorial videos and stuff that they have on their website. Now, I didn't purchase it. I'm using the free version. However, I do plan on purchasing it because it is a much better program than Premiere Pro. But they do have a free version that gives you a lot of the same features that the paid version does. There's obviously a little bit more features in the paid version. I need to cancel my Premiere Pro first, and then I will probably buy it. So, because it's like $300, but it's $300 period. That's it. You don't pay monthly for it. You don't have a monthly subscription fee, which I like not having that because that's great. Because I think it's ridiculous that you have to pay for it, because I think the amount that you pay for Premiere Pro for the whole year equals to the amount that you would have paid if you just bought the software from DaVinci outright. So makes more sense. So that's pretty much where I'm at with editing my next video. It's almost done. But this week is going to be a busy week, so I am only just going to live stream today, and then I will probably not be back on until next week, or have that video ready hopefully next week. And then the following week, we'll see what happens for next week, because my parents are going to be in town, and my son has his Court of Honor for Eagle Scout, so we're going to be busy visiting people and stuff like that. So I don't think I'm going to be live streaming next week either, but I think that they leave on Friday. So if they leave on Friday and I have time or whatever, I might come on Friday, or I might do Sunday or Monday again. So we'll see how everything goes. I'm probably not going to be on super long today because I do still have a lot of things to do in order to prepare for his Court of Honor and everything. It's quite overwhelming. And that is on Saturday of this week. So I have to order a cake, 2 cakes actually, and finish up some of the other things that I have to do for it. So yeah, that's what's been going on in my life. Just craziness. This piece will not stay. I think that one's gonna have to be pinned in place because for some reason over here just does not want to stay. just want it to cool real quick so it'll stay. This piece doesn't really want to stay very well, so I'm probably just going to pin there, and then we'll do the other side next. So the only problem with doing like a felled seam is that it's like very time consuming because you have to cut and fold it back and then stitch it down, and it has to be very precise. And it looks really good though when you're done. It's just annoying while you're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool for just a minute, and then we will stitch it down. I gotta switch out my presser foot real quick. Hi, Munchie. Hi, Munch. Okay. So I think I'll start with this side first. So much of it. And I have to figure out what my needle placement needs to be for this one, because this is actually on a different side than what I've done before. So I think -2 would be fine. Let's see how that does. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just trying to make sure to keep it up against that blade. I'm pointing this way, but it's actually over here. I'm just trying to make sure it's like underneath there, which is why it's like taking me a lot longer to stitch through it, because it feels like it's not completely where it's supposed to be at. So I'm just trying to stretch the fabric out and shove that piece underneath at the same time, if that makes sense. Okay, now we'll do the other side. Nightmare, is that you making a whole bunch of noise downstairs? Oh, it must be. Hello? Hello, crazy? He's being a little crazy. Where are you at, Nightmare? What are you doing? Oh, it's crazy time because Nightmare is being crazy. Sometimes it's Nightmare crazy o'clock, sometimes it's Wolverine crazy o'clock. Just depends on the day, I guess. So some things that I plan on having come out soon are obviously my trouser pattern series, the next installment in it, which like I said before was the magic pants. I made Antilly magic pants. And then after that, I have a couple of other ones that are done as well or in the works. And then I'm also going to be remaking the dress for my Aerith cosplay because I have been wanting to for a while. The bust and it wasn't fitting me right, and at the time I didn't completely understand. While I am an experienced sewist, I will say that some things that I and many other sewists struggle with is fitting things to my body because I don't fit into your standard size is sometimes kind of difficult. So those are things that I've been struggling with, and I've been learning more as I've actually been doing more sewing and stuff for my YouTube channel. I feel like you're always learning. Even though I've been doing this for like close to 20 years, I'm still always learning stuff on how to fit things, on how to make things in a certain way with certain things. Like, for example, the burrito method. I think I only learned that like a year ago or 2 years ago before I started doing YouTube, because I was like, how am I supposed to fully line this and figure this out? And so I did some research because the pattern that I was working on did not tell me to do a burrito method. They just said, stitch this all together and turn it out. And I tried and it didn't work because you can't just stitch it together like you normally would, like one piece to the other and then turn it out. It has to be different. So that's something that I've learned in the last like 2 or 3 years. But yeah, like fitting is definitely something that I am trying really hard to improve my skills on. And when I first made the Aerith cosplay, I attempted to do a full bust adjustment, but when I did it, I didn't move the apex down, so it did not fit me correctly. So I went back to the original pattern and said I would, figure it out later, whatever. It was fine. So it's the fit is a little bit wonky, so I have to do a full bust adjustment on that pattern. And then I bought new fabric for it as well that has the print on it from Spoonflower so that it can look more close to the character. And that will be coming up soon because I really want it's not a hard make. It's actually a relatively quick and easy thing to throw together. Now I have to see if I have the markings on here. So there's one dot. Let me see if I have it on the other side. I may not have transferred my markings properly. So here's the 2 dots here. So that's something that I'll be working on relatively soon, is doing that, updating that cosplay. So here is the fabric that I purchased, and you can see that it has the design on there that she has on her skirt, on her dress in the video game. This is probably a little bit bigger print than I would have liked, but I didn't really have the option to adjust the size of the print, so it is what it is. Okay, so right now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to attempt to transfer this dot and this dot to the other piece because I don't have it on the other piece of fabric here. So I'm just going to mark it with a pin real quick so that they're both in the same spot. I mean, this one's not in the same spot, but it's close enough. Okay. I also have this here. I don't have that marked on the other side, and I probably need to do that as well. Okay, so now that those are marked, I can put, I'm going to have to transfer the marking to the front because right now it's not. So because it's supposed to be top stitched on the outside, obviously these marks are on the inside. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I just did before so that I can see them on the outside of the fabric, because I'm top stitching it to the outside of the pants, not to the inside of the pants. I need the mark to be on the outside, which I did not put it there originally because I think that it was folded in on itself when I cut the fabric out. Not that it really matters as long as you cut the right pieces out facing the right direction. This is a water-soluble pen, so it doesn't go away until I wash it. So obviously, if these marks are still visible after I finish sewing it, I'm just going to have to wash them so that they come out. So this says to match the dots, but I can't see the dots on the inside, but I know they're up here in this corner, and they don't completely match up for some strange reason. The pocket ends before this starts, so I think I'm just going to match it with this one and then just pin it here. And that's fine. I think it's supposed to be parallel with this top stitching, but it doesn't specifically say. So I'm going to check the picture in a minute because it just says to match the dots and then top stitch it in place. But What does it look like on here? Yeah. So I think they matched it with this top stitching line. So I might have to move it over just a little bit. Okay, let me fix the placement of this one because I think it's supposed to be over a little bit more this way. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put my needle position back to the center. Nope, not that way. Actually, I might not. I actually might leave it where it is so that I can top stitch it. Is this top stitching twice? No, it's only one row of top stitching. Top stitch a 1/4 inch from the side and lower edge. So I think I am going to continue to use this foot. Okay, that's as far as over as it goes, but I don't think that's actually a 1/4 inch. That's a little bit less than a 1/4 inch, but I think it'll be fine. It should still look okay. I feel like they could have done a better job of making this go together without having so much stuff to shove onto this under the sewing machine. You know, I don't feel like that was, could have put it on before you put the two back pieces together, right? All right, now the same thing on the other side. Yay! Okay, that's done. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, there's my pockets. All right, let's see what it wants us to do next. All right, so next step is stitch back to front at inner leg edge. Those are going to have to be serged. And in order to serge them, I have to switch out the thread in my serger because it is on the wrong thread. It has a dark colored thread in there right now because what I was using it for last time was dark colored. I made a pair of pants for my mom for her birthday / Mother's Day. I see her this week. So they're almost finished. They're not completely finished, but I don't need this thread in here anymore for them. But I think I'm going to take a break and eat something. So yeah, I think I'm going to take a quick break, eat something, go to the bathroom, and switch out the serger thread while I do that. So I'll be back in like 10 to 15 minutes or so. I'm going to turn my cameras off so they can cool off for a little while too. And I will be back. Okay, I'm back. So I'm gonna quickly serge the seams for this. I do the inseam. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the crotch seam here, and then the inseam on both sides of this back piece on my serger right here. I already changed the thread out. It was actually relatively quickly, I guess, probably mostly because I've been doing it a lot lately. I've been changing out the thread on the serger a lot lately. I've been using it. So yeah, I guess I'm getting better at it, which is a good thing, I guess, kind of. So this will take me like maybe 5 minutes to do, and I'm just gonna have my back to you guys while I'm doing it. Hopefully it's not too loud. The serger is quite loud, but it's usually relatively quick. It's making a noise. I'm not really sure. I just had it serviced. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Maybe it's just the needle or something is in the wrong position. Sometimes when it makes that noise, it'll break the thread, and then I know it's not threaded right, but it's not doing that this time, so. Okay, so that side is done. Okay, now that that is done, let us see what the next step is to do in the process. I'm pretty sure it's to sew together the inseam. Pretty sure that's what it says. And the reason why I serged it, I don't know if I told you guys that before, but I'm not going to be able to top stitch this because this will be all on the inside. Once you turn it right side out, it will be impossible to top stitch. So I want these edges to be finished. I think the tension was off, but it's still fine. Okay, so I'm just pinning these seams together, and then it will be the crotch seam will be the next part that I do after this, once these seams are together. And then the pants will just about be ready. And then the last thing that I have to do is the waistband. So okay, so let me turn my sewing machine back on. I don't need this foot. The feet get so dusty from the fabric. Okay, so I put it back to 0. Okay, let me get rid of this. All right. So now we'll sew this together, and then the next step we'll do is probably going to be the crotch seam. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure that is the next thing they want you to do, and then the waistband, and then we'll be done. Wait, I forgot to take this thing off of here. It still says I'm taking a break, but I'm obviously not. Sorry, guys. I forgot to take it off. I thought I had left my charging cord at work because I use it at work sometimes when my phone is dying, and I couldn't find it in my bag, but I looked in just the compartment that I normally put it in, and then it wasn't there, and I was like, oh my God, I left it at work. What a pain in the butt. And then I was going to send Brian out to go get another one, and then he went and looked in my bag, and he found it, and he was like, I thought you said you left this at work. And I was like, I thought I did. It's in a different spot in my bag than where I normally put it. I don't know. Sometimes my brain just doesn't function properly. know where my nightmare went. Nightmare! He's probably sleeping downstairs, or sometimes he'll sleep on the bottom of the steps downstairs, so that when you come down the steps, you got to be careful not to step on him. Okay, other leg. I guess I'll just go from the bottom to the top. It doesn't really matter. It's just where I happen to have put the pins. Oh, I wonder where Munchie went. She was over here before when I was sewing. That's my old kitty. She was having some trouble last week, and we thought that the worst, but she's actually improving. She is on steroids right now, and she's actually improving. She was just wobbly and falling down, and just generally having a lot of trouble, but she's doing better on the steroids, so that's a good thing. I'm just hoping that it's not time yet, because I'm not really ready for her to go yet. She is quite old. We think that she's like 23, so she's quite old. Okay. So now I believe I'm going to put one leg inside the other, stitch the remainder of the center seam to notch in front, stitch again, 1/4 of an inch, trim close to avoid to second stitching. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is you put one leg inside the other. So you pull one leg so that it is right side out. So this one is right side out and this one is inside out. And in order to get them right sides together, you're going to put one leg, the right side out leg, inside the inside out leg, if that makes sense. And that will line up your crotch seam and put the two sides, the two legs right side together. So I'll show you guys in just a second once I get this all laying properly. The heck? Oh. Because it takes a little bit of finagling. If you have a fabric that you can see the difference between, it makes it slightly easier. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell on this fabric because it looks exactly the same on both sides. Get in there. You can see I'm struggling with it a little bit. Okay, so this is the crotch seam here. I haven't sewed it yet. And this is the right side of the fabric on this pant leg. And this is the right side of the fabric on this pant leg that is shoved inside of this pant leg so that they are both right sides together. And then you stitch around this. I'm gonna have to trim these pieces. So I'm going from here where I stitched before. This here is like that fly piece that it's not a real fly because it's an elastic waist pant, but it has a fly piece on it like that makes it look like it's a fly. So that's what that is on the front of the pants crotch. And then this is stitched together already up to this point, and then we're going to stitch from here all the way around. This is like the butt seam. And they want you to stitch it twice, which I will probably do. It keeps that seam a little bit more stable, but I am not going to, but I've already finished it. So it's sometimes it's like for finishing purposes, it will keep it from fraying, but it's not for finishing purposes here. It's for me at least, because I already finished that seam with the serger. It's really just for strength, like to keep it nice and strong. My hand gestures. So now I'm just going to stitch from the back. I don't realize that I'm not in the shot here, huh? I'm going to stitch from the back to the front where this notch already exists here, and I already stitched the rest of the way up. And then I'll just back stitch a couple times and then stitch it one more time just to make sure that it is nice and strong and finished off. So first one's just going to be at 5/8 of an inch, and then I will do the next one at 1/4 of an inch. I don't know if there's a marking on this machine for 1/4 of an inch, so I might have to just get out my 1/4 inch foot. That might be the easiest thing to do. Ugh. How did the foot get over here? I mean, I imagine that one of these lines on here is for 1/4 of an inch, but it's not marked. Like 5/8 of an inch and 1/2 inch is not marked either. 5/8 of an inch is marked. I wonder if my straight stitch plate has more markings on it. Because this is just a standard plate that came with it. And then I also bought a straight stitch plate. And really that straight stitch plate is really good for like thin fabrics that could get shoved down into the machine when you stitch it. Because that was what they told me. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. But we'll see. I might have some more delicate fabrics that I'll be working with here soon. I did want to make that silk shirt that I made I made it originally in a white cotton linen blend, and I wanted to make it again in like silk or something. Because I do have like 2 silk fabrics that I've had in my stash for quite some time. And I kind of want to use them. They're really pretty. At least the one is. It's like a blue with these really pretty flowers. I actually got that back when Hancock fabric was still around. We lived in Virginia for about 5 years, I think, and there was a Hancock fabric not far from our house in Virginia, and I used to go shop there all the time because sometimes they had a better selection than Joann's. And then we ended up moving back to Hawaii, which is where I went to nursing school and got my nursing degree. And I guess when I moved back, they didn't exist anymore. Well, I mean, I lived in Hawaii for 3.5 years. Well, I lived in Hawaii the first time for about 3 years, and then I lived in Hawaii the second time for about 3.5 years, as long as it took me to finish school. And then I moved back with my parents. And I think at that point, Hancock fabric no longer existed. It was just Joann's. And now Joann's no longer exists. How depressing. Let me stitch it one more time at 1/4 of an inch. Let me see if I can find a seam gauge so I can figure out how far away it needs to be, because I have no idea where that is on here. Where did I put my seam gauge? I just had it. Oh, it's right here. Well, that'll be close enough. It's pretty much at the edge of the presser foot here. It's crazy how they put them out of business, Hancock Fabrics, and now they don't even exist anymore either. It's frustrating because there's not a lot of places you can get good fabric where you can actually go and touch it and feel it and see what it looks like. I mean, a lot of the places that I buy fabric, they do have good descriptions on there and they give you good pictures on there, but it's not always the same thing as being able to touch it. And I'm off after Tuesday for like a week and a half, and I do want to go and check out the Mood Fabrics that they just opened a couple of months ago in Houston. Is it Houston? There are some other fabric stores over there also that we saw when we went to the quilting convention. We saw some of their stands there, and they have some fabric stores in, I believe it's Houston, was where the quilt convention. It was the International Quilt Convention that we went to last year. And I think I might want to go again this year because they did have a lot of stuff, even though it's more geared towards quilters. Quilters have lots and lots of tools. And this sewing machine is a quilter's edition, but anybody can use it. Like, there's no law that says I can't have it if I sew clothes, you know. It just has some features that are specific to quilting, you know. And some of those features actually work for sewists too. Like I think there's a little bit more room here than there was on my last sewing machine. Not a whole lot. Some of the other machines have even more, but they were a little more expensive than what I wanted to pay for. So I decided on this machine because it was on sale. It was like $1,000 off when I got it. But yeah, I mean, all of those features are good for people that sew too. And actually, when I went to the class for this machine to learn about it, the first part at least, the majority of the people that were there were not even quilters anyways, which I thought was kind of funny because I wouldn't have thought that to be the case. I wasn't expecting to see more people that sew or like fiber artists. I guess you could call them sewists or fiber artists or whatever you want to call them. Those kind of people there than quilters, because I bought it at a quilting shop. So, and it's a quilting machine. But, you know, when Joann's went out of business, we all had to find someplace else to buy all of our stuff from. And a lot of the, even the quilting shops that are around here are starting to offer more like fabric selection. Even if it's not a whole lot, there's at least some. Not the place where I bought this machine from, but there's another one that's closer to Austin that does have like cotton lawn and rayon and stuff that you would use more for like sewing rather than quilting. I mean, you could use cotton lawn for quilting, but also I saw, I don't know if you guys are into it or not, but I had made that journal that I made last year for to wear to the Renaissance Fair. I made it out of Tula Pink fabric, and now Tula Pink, I like all of her designs, are really pretty, but it is a quilting cotton, so it doesn't always work super well with like sewing or dresses or skirts or anything like that, because it is a little bit stiffer. But she is now making cotton lawn, which is nice because then you could make a dress out of a cotton lawn, because cotton lawn is very light and airy and really nice for dresses or skirts. So if I could find some place that sold it, I would like to see it. But like I said, I don't think that any of the quilting shops near me have it yet. I think she just came out with it, so in her most recent collection, because I follow her on Instagram and I saw some of that stuff on there and I was like, cotton lawn, oh my gosh. I got excited. But we shall see if any of the shops near me are going to decide to carry it. And then I could maybe make like a summer dress out of it or something if I find it. Her colors are so vibrant, it's hard to really judge online like what it's going to look like and how it's going to look if you make it into a dress or something like that. So that is something that I would much rather buy in person. And she comes out with like new designs every couple months. So, I mean, just depends on what the design is. It's not going to be the same as like the material that I used for my journal, because that was last year. And I think she's had a couple other collections since then. Right now I'm just pressing the seam out for this inseam. And I'm just using one of this is actually a sleeve ham, I believe. So you would put it inside of sleeves in order to press the sleeve, but it works pretty well for this too, to do inside of the pants. So it's just this like long hot dog looking ham that you can use to press. I think these are filled with sawdust, which is kind of cool because then it absorbs the heat as opposed to like having to worry about it getting to that like other layer of fabric. underneath. So it's just pressing this seam here instead of making like a press over here. Oh, this is a mess. Okay, so we have a pair of pants. They look huge. Holy cow, I hope they're not too big. Okay, so the next step is going to be to, I think, make the waistband. Let me throw this in the trash really quickly. I'm going the wrong direction. I moved my trash can back over here. It was over there for a couple of days, and I keep going back over there to throw it out. Silly me. Okie dokie. So this is this elastic guide. However, if I'm being totally honest with you, I think this is a little bit too big for his waist. I'm going to have to go and check that out and see. So, but I think the first thing that we're going to do is to put the waistband on anyways. Oh, it wants you to make buttonholes. I don't want to make buttonholes. That would be if you were making the drawstring. I don't want the drawstring. I'm going to skip that. So we'll skip the buttonholes. I'm going to take this, put this over here really quick, because right now I just need to be working on this. I need to make sure everything is marked and notched. Okay. Oh, I didn't notch over here. Because the first thing it's telling you to do is to press under the unnotched side. This does not, no, okay. Just making sure I didn't need to make any interfacing out of this too, because sometimes they have you interface the waistband, but this is not interfaced, probably because it has elastic in it. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna sew together. I'm not doing the buttonholes. Didn't do that. Pin front casing to back casing, right sides together, matching notches and dots. This is okay. So now I'm just going to pin this together. I actually don't even need to pin it together. Like, it's literally already together. And then I'm just going to sew these pieces at 5/8 of an inch together really quickly on both sides to make it into a tube. So now I'm just going to press these open. Oops. Stay there. So now that I have a nice big tube here, I'm going to press the seam allowances open, and then I'm going to press under the unnotched long side of this in order to press up the seam allowance for that, because I'm not making the buttonholes that, like I said before, I don't really think that I need to make buttonholes. I don't want the tie. We're going to make it like clean, nice and clean looking. So let's see by how much. Press under 1/2 inch. And this is like a heat resistant ruler or whatever, hot ironing ruler. So I got this at from Wawak when I ordered some other stuff. I thought it was a pretty cool tool to use in order to like press up hems and stuff like that, so that you don't have to like do it the harder way. This is like a little bit of an easier way to do it, at least in my opinion. So so it's not perfect, but at least it is pressed so that I can see where that is, and then I'll usually just go back around and press it again to make sure that it has a good press on it, like so I can see exactly where that hem is. Okay, so then the next step is to put it on the pants, matching the notches. And side seams. And we shall see if all of this stuff lines up. Keep our fingers crossed. Because sometimes everything lines up perfectly, and sometimes it does not. So when things don't match up, me personally, I think it's more important for the side seams to match up than it is for the notches to match up. Because if your side seams don't match up, then it just looks sloppy and off center, weird. So generally I will prioritize I just realized this is not on the outside, so that would have been really bad if I'd have pinned that together and then sewn it together, and it's not even right sides together. So I'm gonna try that again. Let's see, where's the side seam? I think this is the side seams. So let me match those up. Okay, so that's not going to match up, so I'm guessing that I just need to match the notches because I have no idea why they're not matching. Like the side seams don't match up. So I'm just going to do this and see what happens here because I don't think it's the side seams that I'm supposed to be matching up anyway. I think it's like towards the back more. So I'm just going to pin it all the way around and see what happens. Unless none of them match up and then I made it too big. Because that side seam here on this waistband might not actually match up to anything on the pants. So it might be irrelevant. I don't know. I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. So you just have to match the notches. So like if it was supposed to, you would want to obviously prioritize the seams matching as opposed to the notches, because the notches don't particularly matter that much. They're going to be covered up and nobody's going to see them once the pants are completely assembled anyway. But on these particular pants, this seam doesn't match with anything else, which I find to be kind of weird. I mean, they could have just done it as one big piece on the fold and just had it match like in the front or the back or something. I'm not really sure why they did two pieces. I don't know. Doesn't tell you. So this seam, it doesn't matter where it matches to because it does not match to anything. So in that case, I'm just going to match my notches and call it good. Ow! And stab myself, apparently. Okay, let's see. So notches, centers, and side seams to small dots on side sections. Yeah. I don't know if I have those there. There's a dot. Yeah, it's close enough. I'm not gonna fret over it. Fold casing over on fold line so that it encases. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on, then I stitch in the ditch, then we put the elastic in place. And I have to go see if the elastic measurement is correct for him before I cut any elastic. So once I stitch this in place, I will go check that out on him real quick, take a 5-10 minute break, whatever, and go check that out and measure it on him and see if it is the right size. If not, I will make whatever adjustments to that I need, because once I put the elastic in there, it's going to be, and sew it closed, it's going to be really hard to take it out. So I'd rather make sure it's the right size before I put it in there, or even cut it, because I don't want to have to cut it to size either, or cut it down once I've already made it. And then these pants are almost done. And then after I put the elastic in the casing and fix that, all of that, I'm probably going to just hem it off camera. So I'm probably only going to be on for maybe another half hour or so, because like I said before, I have a bunch of things to still do to prepare for my son's court of honor on Saturday. I can't wait until it's over with. I'm super excited for it to happen, but I'm also super ready for it to be done. You know what it didn't tell you to do? It didn't tell you which way to press that seam allowance. It doesn't say. I guess it doesn't particularly matter. You have to press it one way or the other in order to stitch it down, right? So The seam allowance I'm talking about is the crotch seam allowance. Since I did two rows of stitching, it is not going to stay open. It would have to be either left or right, and I just stitched it down in whichever direction I felt like when I was stitching it just now. So I don't really think it matters too much. That kind of thing doesn't generally bother people when you're wearing it. Oh no, the bobbin is out. I was actually hoping that it would tell me when the bobbin was out, but that is not the case because it just ran out. I don't think I completely filled this bobbin either. No, because I didn't want a full bobbin because I only have a little bit more left to sew. You couldn't have held out a little bit longer? Well, now I'm going to have to fill my bobbin thread. I don't want to fill it all the way again because I only have a small amount left to sew, and why did I do that? Yeah, I only have a small amount left to sew, and I don't have a whole lot of thread left, so do not want to fill it all the way. I think I made that go the wrong direction. I think that's enough thread because, like I said, I don't want it to be full all the way because I don't need a full bobbin. There's not that much left. Fudge, come on. Get out of there. Also, these are jumbo bobbins, so like they're huge. Oh my God. That was not what I wanted, but I guess it'll work for the moment. Now back to sewing. I thought for some reason I was under the impression, since this is such an expensive machine, it was going to tell me when my bobbin was out. But nobody said it was going to. I just thought that it's a very expensive machine. Why wouldn't it, right? But it doesn't. You just run out of bobbin thread. Just like with every other machine, and then you realize afterwards, you're like, no, I'm out of thread. And the one thing that she did say when I was like testing it out, she was like, oh, you don't have to like stop sewing in order to change the bobbin. You don't, but if you're using the same thread that you're using to sew with, you still have to unthread the machine. Because I don't have another spool of this color thread. So I have to unthread the machine in order to wind another bobbin. But I guess if you had another spool of this color thread the same color thread that you're using to sew, you wouldn't have to unthread the machine, unthread the needle and all of that in order to wind up another bobbin. But like I said, I don't have a second spool of this thread. That would be a good idea, but this was thread that I had in my stash, so, and it just happened to match this fabric, so I didn't buy any more. I just went with what I had. Ooh, what are you doing? Don't do that. Okay, all right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go take a quick break and see if this elastic piece is going to be too big for his waist. So I will be right back. Okay. So I'm just going to cut my piece of elastic and make sure I have the right kind of elastic. 1.5 inch wide elastic. Okay. Let's see. Pretty sure this is 1.5 inches. If it's not 1.5 inches, it's pretty close. It's 1.5 inches. Okay. So I'm just going to measure this out. So next I'm going to do the stitch in the ditch. I'm going to fold this over and do a stitch in the ditch. I have too much stuff on this table. Why am I putting that over there? I actually need that. And I'm just going to leave like a small gap for me to slip the elastic through. I'm just pressing up this seam allowance on here so that it is not in the way when I do the stitch in the ditch. Even though they don't tell you to do that, generally they should. Because you want it to be up so that it is all enclosed in this waistband piece and you don't have any raw edges. It's all finished off, you know? This way, like the inside of your garment looks just as nice and neat as the outside of your garment. Where's mine? Where did I put my thing at? be too much stuff on this table. I can't even find what I'm looking for. So I'm going to fold it over to meet this. Is that right? So I'm folding this over to create this casing so that it is ready to go for when I go to stitch in the ditch. And I'm not going to stitch in the ditch all the way around because I obviously want to make sure that I can get the elastic in there. Because if you close it all the way off, you can't get the elastic in there, right? So you got to make sure you leave a gap that's big enough for you to get the elastic in, and then sew the elastic ends together. So I know I'm pinning this on the inside, but I'm actually going to switch it to the outside here in just a moment because your stitch in the ditch should always be on the outside, and you should be making sure that you're going through all of the layers by all the prep work that you do, right? Because Otherwise, you can't see what you're doing on the other side, and you don't know if you're getting it in the ditch. So some of this is actually too much. So right now I'm just going around and switching the pins to the front and making sure that I'm catching all of the layers here so that I know that it is situated the right way so that when I go over it with my machine, it will catch all of the layers. And I'm adding some pins that I didn't have before, obviously to make sure that it doesn't move around and I don't miss some of those layers when I'm actually stitching it on the machine, because that has happened to me before. And again, for this, I'm going to be using my edge stitch foot. Because it will keep it nice and flush up against this seam here while getting that stitch really good in that ditch there, because that's what you want. You don't want it to show. I mean, it can show a little bit, but less is better. Obviously, if you get it right in the ditch and it doesn't show, or it just looks like a little top stitch there, nobody's really going to notice it. And it's going to look much more professional if you get it right where you want it. And so, ouch. So you can see all of my pins here are going through all of these layers. So like I said, you want to make sure the stitch in the ditch, you want to make sure you're catching this layer on the inside and not this layer on the outside. So let's go do it now. I'm so glad that I bought this foot. I was hesitant at first to buy it, and I swear I get more use out of this foot than probably any of the other feet. I haven't even used my zipper foot yet. Okay, so where I'm going to start, let's see. I will probably start at the center front and leave a gap here. I'm going to start here and finish here. So I'm going to put a pin there so I don't forget that I need to stop there, because that should be a big enough gap there in order for me to fit the elastic in there. Starting here. Okay, so and unfortunately, ow, goddamn. Really, the only way that you're going to know that you're catching all the layers is by kind of feeling and making sure that they're lined up. And then obviously when it's done, when you're done stitching it, checking to make sure that you caught all the layers. almost done. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to put the elastic in. Make sure that it got everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So the elastic, I'm going to grab a safety pin, or not, because I don't have any. Where are my pins? Oh, here they are. Okay. I'm like, I know I have a whole box of safety pins. So I'm just going to thread it through with the safety pin. As long as it fits. Okay. This is always time consuming, but really I don't have another way of getting it in there anymore. I used to have a tool. I have no idea what happened to it. And this way works perfectly fine, like I said. Tried and true. Except sometimes when you're shoving it through, you shove it the wrong direction on accident. This is probably one of the most annoying things ever to do, especially on a fabric that is so thick as this. I mean, if I had used a thinner fabric, it probably wouldn't be so annoying, but this is kind of annoying. Almost to the end. Almost. It's making my hand hurt. And then after I'm done with this, I'm going to have to fix it because it's all like bunched up and folded over itself on the inside here, but that will be easier than this. I'm almost there. Like I said, it's making my hand cramp up. Finally, okay. Because this fabric is so thick, it does not like slide through like normally you would have. Like if the fabric was nice and slippery or less thick, it would be a little bit easier because the fabric just, you know, the elastic will just slide through. But this, it's kind of sticking onto the elastic because of the fabric type that I'm using. There we go. I lost a little bit here, but that's okay. What is it, buddy? Hi. What is it? Little buddy bear. Oh, careful, careful. Hi, sweet boy. What you doing? Have you come to say hello? Hello, buddy. Hi. Hi, sweet baby boy. You want to lay there? Can you hang out here? Hang out with the mummies? This is the little Wolverine. He's little but fierce. He's about 2 years old, I think. He looks like a kitten now. Okay, so I'm just going to pin these two ends together and then probably pin it to the front here of the pants so that it doesn't move around. And then I'm trying to straighten out the waistbands so that it's nice and flat, because as I was pulling it through, obviously it was getting a little bit bunched up and stuff. So I'm just trying to flatten it back out and make sure that it's not like bunched up on itself. And even it out in the pants, in the casing, all of that. There's another way to do like a casing where you don't have to worry about this so much, where you kind of fold it over and then fold it over again when you make it, but I don't remember how to do it. And so it probably would have saved me some of this annoyance here that I'm having because it rolled over on itself, but I wasn't really sure how to do that anyway. And this might have a little too much seam allowance in it too. I might have to fix that. And that might be the problem that I'm having. It's kind of getting on my nerves right now because it's not cooperating. And I think part of it might be when I stitched in the ditch, I might have made the stitch overlap a little bit too much, but I don't want to take it out. So I'm trying to make it work so that I don't have to take it out. because there should actually be plenty of room. But in certain places, it's overlapping on itself, and I can't get it to unfold. No, I think there's plenty of room. It's just that it wants to be difficult. I think I'm also going to have to stitch in the ditch here on the sides to keep the elastic straight, which I was planning on doing anyway, I think. All right, so first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch these pieces together of the elastic. And I'm going to do this in a zigzag stitch. So the stitches don't break. Okay. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go have him try this on really quickly, and then we'll stitch in the ditch to finish this off, if it is good, which I really hope it will be, because I think it's, I measured the elastic stuff on him, so it should be. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, guys. So I'm going to get off because, you know, as per my usual, I have made the pants entirely too big. They are huge. The waistband is not bad, but the legs are really huge. So I am going to have to slim down everything. I mean, all of the seams. I guess this is par for the course. I always make things too big. So I'm going to get off. And the rest of the day, I'm probably going to be spending editing and prepping for my son's thing. We have a couple things we have to order and stuff. So there's that. I still have to sew his patches on, which I'm sure is boring. You don't want to see that. For his sash, I still have everything left to do for this. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to fix it. I might have to unpick some of these seams, which sounds like no fun at all. Yeah. I probably should have made like a medium at this point. Like, holy cow. The waist is fine. The waist and the hips, I think, but the legs are just huge. So I'm probably going to have him try it on again and pin it and figure out where I need to take it in. So stay tuned for that. I don't know when I'll be back live again because of all the things that are going on this week and next week. So we shall see. I will post something on my community page for when I'm going to be coming back live. I did, however, get the pieces for the drill to make the holes. I'll show you. I went to Harbor Freight and they look, there's one in there right now, but they look like this. So they're just drill bits that go into the drill and will make a nice hole in the fabric. So I tried that out, and then I have to make the eyelets for, after I make the holes, then I have to make the eyelets for the, my words are not coming. The eyelets for the lacing. Sorry, my brain was not. I'm thinking about these and how I'm going to fix this, and my brain was not working. So I feel like this project has definitely been challenging because I've made everything entirely too big. Which is part of the reason why I haven't even decided about cutting out, like, I haven't done anything as far as cutting out the shirt, the undershirt, because I'm afraid I'm going to make that too big too. I guess it's better it's too big than too small because it's a lot easier to adjust the size, take it in, adjust the seams on something that's too big rather than too small. The only thing that really sucks is that I already top stitched all of these seams together, so I'm going to have to at least take out the top stitching in order to adjust the seams. I'm so not looking forward to it, guys. I'm not looking forward to it. So with that being said, I'm going to get off and I'm going to go work on some other stuff and some editing and some things for my son's Court of Honor, and we have to go to the store. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next time that I come live, and hopefully next week I will have a video ready and edited, ready to be uploaded for my trouser pattern review that I've been doing. I have several pairs of pants that I've already made and the videos were already ready to go, but because of the sound issues and the music and all of the issues that I was having with Premiere Pro, I am going to have to re-edit those videos. So that's what I've been working on in my times when I'm not working on this. And what else? I don't even know. What have I been doing in my off time? Working and that and cleaning the house because we're having guests. So, you know, life is busy right now. And this is on a deadline, obviously. I'm freaking out because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get this done. Like, I do not want to pick all these seams out. But I have to. Okay, well, so stay tuned, and I'm just having a rant. Stay tuned, and I will post on my community page when I'm going to be coming live again and what we'll be working on, and hopefully I'll have a video ready soon too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you like my content, and I will see you guys next time.